The gentleman from Iowa is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend. I think I first have to say in opening that to Mr. Garrett, my friend across the aisle, you know, you often say that we don't need more government. Well, maybe so, if under the previous administration and our friends that you would have done the job that we have to try to do cleanup on now. I would like to personally thank Chairman Peterson for your leadership in bringing oversight to the over-the-counter derivatives markets. For too long, regulators did not have the tools necessary to police these markets. As a consequence, large financial institutions like Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, and AIG got into trouble before anyone knew it. Had these provisions been in place, the government would not have had to spend billions to rescue AIG to prevent its collapse from sending shockwaves throughout the financial system. The compromise which the Agriculture and Financial Services Committee reached will bring greater transparency and oversight to the over-the-counter derivatives markets. We must provide necessary oversight of these markets without hindering legitimate consumers from operating within them. This compromise strikes a careful balance and protects the use of derivatives by so-called end users who utilize these markets to hedge the cost of their operation. Whether dealing with grain, energy, steel, or financing, American companies use derivatives to lock in prices to effectively plan for the future. When the Agriculture Committee first considered the regulation of over-the-counter derivatives markets, I offered an amendment to require mandatory clearing. I'm pleased to see this compromise, which the Chairman will be offering today, maintains this concept. Clearing exposes and mutualizes a counterparty credit risk which up until now has been hidden behind closed doors. While every derivative does not need to be cleared, the compromise will ensure that regulators look at all derivatives to identify what classes should require clearance. The notional value of the over-the-counter derivatives markets ranges from $400 to $600 trillion. To allow something this massive that impacts every American to continue to operate unregulated is simply not acceptable. This legislation will strike a good balance of consumer protection without obstructing individuals and companies from conducting their business and managing their risk. I yield support for this amendment, and I thank you, and I yield back.
Does the gentleman yield or reserve?
We reserve.
The gentleman from Minnesota reserve.